Well, I've been a Steve Peichel fan since the day he came in the league, and I know it's not it's supposed to be a cheerleader for him, but I really appreciate where this program is coming. It's good for the Big Ten. It's good for us, the fans tonight. We're awesome. He's building something here, and it's I hope all the fans and I hope the media take light of it, because it's a competitive team. I mean, Plexico Burros was in our locker room, and I told him, man, it looked like the old Giants. There looked like some linebackers out there. Some of those freshmen, Mathis and Harper, and they got some good young kids. So the first thing, I'd like to give credit to them. The second thing, I do want to give credit to my team. I mean, we're on a 4 games in 8 day, traveling all over the world stretch without our key defensive player, and Matt McQuaid, who plays 31 minutes a game. But I thought our guys competed tonight. I thought after, they blitzed us early a little bit, but I thought we shot pretty well. We went into the game, as anybody follows us, we averaged 100 turnovers a game in the last 4 games, and that was a key. We only had 2 at halftime and 7 for the game. That was one big goal. We wanted to defend without fouling. They got to the free throw line 16 times. We had 16 fouls. We've been averaging 23. That was 2 big goals. And we felt like we had to out-rebound them, even though they were big, and we did that. So we accomplished what we wanted to accomplish. It wasn't pretty because they're good. Last year, to me, they played hard and weren't as good. And even though we won more than last year, and last year we might have had a really good team too, I just felt like the energy in this building, this place, it was awesome. So, questions?
Tom, what would it mean to the Big Ten, the league, if Rutgers, becomes good, becomes a factor? I mean, obviously the league moved east to include them in Maryland. If they become good, what could it mean?
I think it'd be great, and if it happens, 4 or 5 years from now, when I get the hell out of this job, it'd be even better. But for right now, that's one thing I always do. I think when you've been in the league as long as I have, when the teams that were on the bottom, I say we're with them because they're not a bottom team. I watched them play Miami. I've watched them on TV. They're a team that's got to learn how to win. And they won 1 big game, and it's hard to come back. I mean, you talk about tough travel. I don't know what time they got back, but then they had a 1-day prep, and that's tough. And it's tougher for a younger team that hasn't done the things. We probably came back to school and everybody tell them how great they are, and you got to deal with that. That's part of the process to get great. But if this guy here is a hell of a coach, and if you ask me, and a class person, so I think they're definitely on the way up, and I really appreciated the way their fans, got on me a little bit, and then at the end were great about it. I mean, this place is starting to come as they get facilities now, and they got the right guy, I'll tell you that.
Tom, you mentioned the turnovers at the start here, and I think the other day they were talking about maybe lack of focus sometimes leads to that early in a game, some of those silly turnovers. Did you see a difference in the focus at least?
Well, I'll be honest with you, my staff and I mean, we hammered on it for the 2 days that we had. One day where we got in so late, we just had walkthroughs, but we showed film. We showed film of all our turnovers. We showed film of all our reaching fouls. And so maybe the truth of it is maybe we did a better job, and which means we didn't do a better job early. I don't know if it's a lack of focus. I think sometimes guys want to do things that they can't do. Do your job, as Bill Belichick says, means you do what you're capable of doing. When you try to want to invent things, it doesn't work out usually. And even our 2 turnovers today, 2 guys tried to go in and got charges. That was the turnovers. So I don't know what it was, but it was better. But now we've got to grow on this. We got to build on this because it's ridiculous to turn the ball over 13 times in the first half of Kansas, 12 times in the first half here. I think 11 times, or the other night, 11 times against Texas. That just can't happen. The free throw shooting, other than Nick, and Nick's worked pretty hard on it, was pretty good, but we got to get better at that.
Tom, other than Nick's free throw shooting, you wanted to see him get going a little bit. What do you think offensively, energy-wise?
Yeah, I thought Nick, those of you that were here last year, when I wanted to leave him here, it just, what a great turnaround. And you know what? That kid played his butt off tonight. He he stayed down, he defended well, he, you know, like I said, Nick Ward has been really, really good, and he's had 2 really, really bad games. One first half against Louisville, and the second one was the first half against Kansas. And but he has been more focused in. He did some good things. He's doing better things defensively. He's getting up on those ball screens. And you know what? We went to him. We said we're going to go to him and Josh, and that's what we did. And Cash fills in, but sure would be nice to get Cueto back, you know. And but I didn't think Kyle played as good as he's been playing, but I thought he was okay. I thought Aaron gave us a little lift at times, and then a couple mistakes late, but that's what freshmen are going to do.
2 quick questions. Cueto, do you have an update, any expectations, or?
No, I really don't. We didn't take him on the trip for one reason, and that's, you know, this is the strangest injury. I mean, the game ended. He got hit in the thigh in the last minute, or upper thigh, and took a shower. Everything was great. Rode on the bus. Everything was great. Got in the plane, and all of a sudden that thing was like this. It was a rock. Almost to the point where our trainer talked about taking the plane down because we worried about the swelling and that. And so that probably hurt a little bit. And so we decided not to put him on a plane, you know, until we get this thing. But it's making great progress. He was shooting a little bit yesterday. It's so day-to-day. I'm not big on keeping secrets. There's no secret. He's day-to-day, and I'll find out tomorrow a little more. If I was a betting man, I'd really question it for Monday. Just don't know if you can come back from that when you couldn't even walk 2 days, 3 days.
You addressed the turnovers, but Tom, in only one game this year, UCLA, have you had a fast start. And you talked about your assistants working on turnovers and fix that. How do you address it, especially with an older group?
Well, you know, somebody said this to me, and I don't want to act like we're better than we are or worse than we are, but, you know, for the most part now, when we go someplace, people, we went to Louisville, you know, it was us coming to Louisville. And our players got to understand that we're somebody that people really focus in on. A win against Michigan State means a lot. And never talked about that. I've never tried to use it. But I think right now, our guys don't understand it. We're not doing the things you need to do maybe to get ready. And other teams are at a fever pitch. Their fans and their team. Like I said, I love the crowd tonight. You know, big crowd at Louisville the other night. We're just going to have to live with it and learn from it and get better from it.
Tom, it looked like you had a longer than average conversation with Steve walking up the court.
Yeah.
Just curious what you said to him at the end of this game.
I said, I know you're disappointed, and you didn't play as good as I thought you played the other night, to be very honest with you. I know they had a great start. But I said, look what you've done to this place. You know, I came here when it was just you guys, and who the hell wants the media there to watch a game? No insult intended, but you know, it was, and I mean, you had a damn good crowd. There was kind of a buzz even around the hotel, and I watched their game the other night, and I mean, they played good against a pretty good team. So I just told them to hang in there, and you know, his program is on the rise. It's not looking to be good down the road. I mean, they're going to win some games here, and I think they're going to win some games on the road because he reminds me of some of my teams I had early in my career. Tougher than nails, but what looks like a bunch of football players that can play. Personally, I love that, you know, and I think that helps you win on the road some too. So I think their toughness and you know, getting the ball inside a little better. I don't know what Amari ended up with. You guys, he's great NCAA stat sheets. 16?
And 11.
But he had a bunch of them early, and maybe didn't do as much the second half until the end. He's a really a good player, and I thought we also did a pretty good job on Baker. I don't know what he ended up with.
4 for 13.
I got my narrator here, but put it this way, this was a big win for us. Coming on the road under the circumstances we've been under and playing against a good quality, tough team, I consider this not a win, get out of here, and you got by one. I consider this as we beat a good team and a good program in a tough place to play, and we're going to enjoy it for probably the 2-hour ride home, and then we got to prepare for another game on Monday, and once we get by that, we're going to take a little break too.
Real quick, you mentioned Baker. What do you think of him? What did you guys do against him? This really was his first bad game of the season.
Well, I think one thing, we put Josh Langford on him, and instead of guarding him with a point, we guarded him with a bigger two-man, and Josh, I thought, did a pretty good job on him. He's got that step back going left shot that is really effective, and I don't know if he didn't take as many, or if it was because of us or because of him, or, you know, what you got to understand, I got two guards in there that are out. I mean, I'll bet you a couple of his guys are really tired too, because they'd expend everything they could expend to win the other night. And maybe Baker's legs weren't all there either, because he didn't look to me as good as I've seen him. I'm a big Baker fan.
Anything else?
Tom, real quick, just on the quick turnaround again, obviously, you're in a tough stretch, but
Yeah.
just how tough that is with another good team.
Well, it's really tough without the 31 minutes of McQuaid, to be honest with you. I mean, you can look at it like other guys are getting their chance, but he is our best defender, and he is our kind of our solidest player, you know, and so, you know, we're just going to have to figure it out. You know, we're like an NBA team now. You go home and you have a film session, a little walkthrough, and, you know, I don't like that at all. I know Steve doesn't either. So I'm still, you know, questioning these Big Ten games this early, personally. Nothing bad, it makes it so hard to fit games in your schedule, and this is brutal for our guys. And I think his quick turnaround, winning a big game after, you know, building this program up, you didn't even get a chance to tell them, okay, now you're going to get back down to earth, and, you know, so that probably hurt them a little bit too. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.